Hey everybody, welcome to our Artist Talk. We are excited to have a fascinating group of people together to talk about our Free on the Inside exhibition. So please welcome to our talk, Juliana Ferreira, who is our curator, Jody Lashinsky, who is our programming manager, and the fabulous illustrator, Catalina Villegas. So thank you so much, all of you, for joining us for this. Can you explain a little bit about this inspiring, wonderful exhibition from the inside?
Yes, hi Kay. The From the Inside exhibition came as a result of a one-year conversation and planning with Sharonda Eccentric Richardson, who leads the Free on the Inside program, teaching creative writing and poetry to people incarcerated in a number of prisons in Dade County. And this is the second iteration of a similar exhibition. What happened is she gave me a number of poems written by incarcerated or result of her program. And we were trying to come up with a visual artist response to those poems that we were given. And so what we did, we started looking at artists that are connected to me somehow, that are closer to me. At the previous iteration, they have done call for entries, but I needed something more closer. So I look at artists that I have exhibited recently, or people that I know from a good while, that I know that had something to say and may be able to respond to the poems that I have in my power. So one by one, started sending a number of poems to many of them, and they were responding to the poems. So the poem that I shared with Catalina, it's When the Dove Smiles. And I'm actually very curious to see like what was your response, and how did you come up with the idea of the artwork that you created, Catalina, for this work, and were any of the visuals in the poem resonated with you and your artwork?
Okay, yeah, definitely. So hi, everybody. It's nice to be here with you. Well, when Juliana first sent me the email, it was kind of interesting because it seemed like the perfect fit. When she first told me about the project, I was definitely intrigued because I had never seen something like this. This was completely new to me, and also the chance of being able to interpret a poem from somebody who's in confinement, I think is just something completely incredible that not a lot of artists will definitely get the chance of doing so, and during their career. The poem that she sent me was called When a Dove Smiles, and it clicked automatically. I think that the title was the first thing that I loved about it. I love animals. You can see it definitely in my work. My work is based mainly on studies of animals and plants. And once I got the chance to read the poem, I loved the sentiment behind his writing. And he was also Ronald Willing, who's the author. They call him the artist. And the poem has some drawings in it. And I just thought it was perfect. It was beautiful. And they were drawings of doves, obviously. And just when I got it, the image just came to my mind that, okay, I have to do something with doves, and I have to do something with plants, and we're in Florida, and it was just perfect.
So if I can jump in here, what I was intrigued with, that you've incorporated augmented reality into your artwork. And I have been so fascinated with augmented reality for years, since I went to a marketing workshop where they showed it to us, and then we incorporated it into one of our grant applications, and we wanted to always use it. So here it is, you've already plugged it in, and you're helping us reach our accomplishments. So tell us a little bit how you created the augmented reality. What do you have to do?
Okay, well, that's amazing. Well, augmented reality is not new per se, but for me, it's new because I had never used it, or I had never applied it to my work before. And this was actually, it's a fairly new concept for me. I started researching, I would say around November, give or take, about the possibilities of augmented reality through Instagram filters. So if you're familiar with Instagram, you can, and if you're familiar with stories, There's these things called filters that if you talk, to the camera, you can make videos and you're going to have things that are going to pop up, and then colors, and there's all sorts of cool things that you can do with them. So I'm naturally a very curious person, and I started doing my research, and I was like, I have never done this before. Even though I enjoy working with video, I do not know how to animate my animation. So it was a pretty steep learning curve in a very short amount of time. But I told Juliana, I have this idea that I want to apply for this exhibit specifically, and I want to do it with you, like for the first time ever. And I don't know if I'm going to make it. I remember telling her, I'm not really sure if I'm going to have the time or if I'm going to meet the deadline, but I'm going to try my best. And we did it. I was able to do it, and I was just very excited to be able to, display my first augmented reality piece with the city of Pompano Beach. So this whole process entailed obviously learning different software. There's two different programs. One is called Spark AR, which is the software that allows you to upload the filter directly to Instagram, and then After Effects, which is part of the Adobe suite, which is part of Photoshop and Illustrator and Premiere. So that was the bridge for me to be able to illustrate, which is what I typically do, which is 2D work, and then to take that illustration to a different level, not 3D, but to give it that sort of like 3D realistic look. So yeah, it was a lot of learning along a lot of long nights, but definitely worth it.
Definitely worth it. When you watch that video of what you did, I mean, it just brings it to life, and it is just so beautiful and stunning. But Catalina, so much of your work is so inspiring. Of course, you've done another exhibition with us in the past, which was absolutely beautiful. And
Thank you.
Can you tell us a little bit about what your inspiration is for your artwork and how it all comes together for you?
Sure. Well, my inspiration is, my work is based mainly on plants and animals, but I think the whole meaning of me working with plants and animals is to kind of bring some order and some beauty to this chaotic life. Everything is, with the news and obviously everything that's going on right now, but everything that's been going on for years can definitely become overwhelming. So I just use my art as a means of finding beauty amongst the all of the dark moments, and just seeing that there's so many gorgeous things out there that will definitely lift the human spirit. And I see a lot of artists who definitely resonate with showing the pain and all of these problems in very different ways, but I think I just try to go the opposite way. So maybe there is probably pain and a lot of things involved in creating the work, but I like the I like it when people see my work and smile or feel something warm or something nice, when they're, I'm not really sure how to say it, but I just think it's nice for people to be able to take a break.
Yeah.
From all the crazy stuff that's going around, and just I try to stay positive, and I try to bring some of that light and some of that love through my work.
Well, when I'm looking through your website, there's just so much joy that just echoes through your website. Can you explain a little bit of some of the new things that you're working on right now? You were telling me you're doing some of the Gifs and so forth. What's happening with that?
Oh yeah, so I've one of the projects that I fell in love with last year was animating Gifs. So I'm fairly new to this whole animation thing, but I'm very curious, and I think this is definitely a very strong direction that I'm headed towards in the future. And I started a Giphy channel, I think it was about a year ago, and it's the same concept behind the augmented reality. It's just taking my two-dimensional work and then finding a way to give it some movement, either through animation or even through Photoshop. There's you can do that with that software, and people can use these GIFs on social media. So you can, there's sticker packs that you can use in your Instagram stories and Twitter. So yeah, it's a really fun way of just giving that extra dimension to to a piece of art.
Well, they're absolutely stunning. Ladies, do you have any other questions that we want to ask Catalina about before we say goodbye?
One question. When you were talking about Instagram filters, I seem to remember seeing something somewhere that there might be a workshop coming up.
Oh, okay. Yeah, definitely. I'm actually, well, this week I just started writing my augmented reality class. It's the first class that I'm going to be teaching, and I hope to be able to share it with many people, because I do get that question. What was one of the interesting things about the day that we had the opening at the exhibit was the reaction that people had when they saw the work come to life, because people would normally, they would approach the piece and they would look at it, but I had a little QR code right on the side of the piece, and I actually had to stand there next to the piece to be able to get people to, hey, do you have a smartphone? Do you have Instagram? Here, let me show you how it works. So people were kind of like, all right, let's see what happens. But when they actually opened up their app and they scanned the QR code and they saw, they pointed their phone towards the piece that was framed on the wall, everybody was like, whoa. So that was the first question that I got. How do you do that? And I just try to explain everything like in a nutshell, but I have had that request, and definitely that's something I am working on right now, because I would love to share it. And I think this is definitely the future, and it's something that so many artists can do without having previous technical backgrounds in animation or in other types of things. I think it's something that many people can apply to their work.
Well, it's fascinating, and what you're doing is just so beautiful, and it's bringing so much joy to all of our lives right now. I think the artists right now are inspiring all of us and kind of encouraging us to try a few things. That's why I'm really looking forward to the upcoming workshops that you'll be doing.
Definitely.
So ladies, thank you so much for our art talk today, and look forward to our next art talk with some of the other artists who are participating in this wonderful exhibition. So see you next time.
Thank you. Bye.